Welcome back. Imagine the worst thing that could happen in the construction of a Satisfactory video when you're trying to chat more. Well, that thing happened to me. And the construction of our rod factory, that video is no longer. But there's the rod factory, that third building in the back there. It's making nothing but iron rods. And they're getting shipped over on 2 different sushi belts to here. So now we are seeing an increased amount of rotors, but not quite enough. Each one of these machines basically represents 4 rotors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 21 times 4, 84 rotors. We want something a little closer to 400. So I'm thinking about making the rest of this kind of a rotor land over here. Just all rotors all the time. Now that we actually have a good supporting amount of iron rods, and we've never had issues with the other ingredient that I can't think of right now. Screws, right. Yeah, because we're using the awesome steel recipe and lining the screws. So we've got a lot of screws. So that's my thought, is that we could also overclock, but overclocking is going to be a bit of a pain. You only get 10. We overclock this one. You only get 10 rotors when you overclock. It's probably better just to build some more machines. Over here, we have plenty of reinforced plate. We will start using more reinforced plate. I'm tempted to inline some more storage in here. Just so these machines stay a little busy. Right, so if we want to have more reinforced plates when the time comes, and the time is coming because you can see we're actually using some of the smart plate. You see it's moving there a little bit. So that means we are sending enough iron rods to make use of some of the plates. We've also been picking up some of these screws just because there's so many of them. That's the downside to this build, is that you can't use the overflow. That's the only part I don't like. Of course, when you build this, you originally think, there'll never be any overflow. It's exactly the right amount. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Let me drop these screws off. Okay, let's drop them off down here so they can, both lines can get equally fed. I'm sure we're making some extra heavy modular frames due to that. So let's go ahead and put in the factory floor. We want rotors. I wonder, how many of these do you think we can build? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's 3. All right. We give ourselves 2 spaces. That's 10. Hello? 20. $30. I like this plan. So that would be 10 this way, 7 that way, 70 rotors. Rotor mega platform. Oh, you know, now that I know how to sample blueprints, much easier to guarantee that it's the right one. Now, if I could only add it to my to-do list, rotate, let me read the thing here. Maybe there's a way to do it. Toggle build mode. Right, sample building, quick switch, build menu. Close hide hub. Okay, so there's not an easy way to go from this state to added to to-do list. Rotor mega platform. And we're talking 70 of these. Absolutely crushing the amount of stuff we're going to need. Though technically we don't need it all at once. So my mentality on this is probably just a little wrong. Though having only access to 400 plates is probably not going to be very workable when you need 5,000 plates. Let's just go over here and pick up the plates by hand. That's half, but easy to pick up more, so not too worried about that. Cable's going to be a different problem, but if we put 7 of these together, we should have some respite in between. Let's take a peek, though. Maybe it makes sense to upgrade our blueprint. Motor. No, rotor. We should probably flatten this. Which direction is it running? I wonder if I can get this to easily stackable. I mean, why not learn the lessons of the previous builds, right? Ew. This is the output side? Oh, we should really change this. There's no way we need to have 2 outputs. At 4 per minute, 8 per minute, 8 times 10 times 7. I like these numbers. But we only need 1 belt for this, so that'll make the build process that much easier. Uh-oh. Okay, I am totally destroying this. Let's start over. Motors. No, rotors. Yeah. For half a second there, I thought I was dealing with 2 of the same, but we're doing inline screws, so better just to stop and recalibrate. Okay, so on this one, it does matter which one gets sent in where. This has to be the steel side. But they can still be nicely stacked. I see. This is the output of the... All right, so this is the merchandise. Something like that. I guess since we're here, we might as well connect this, right? If I were on a tall, I'd get 3 of these in here. Maybe I still should. Nah. It's less convenient to build through that clipping. If we put this back here, this should make the build just that much faster. Rotating this sign is actually a nightmare. There's really no way to tell which way it's gonna come out, which is insane to me. All right, forget it. I was gonna put a sign in the back, but now I don't care. All right, I'm gonna put together this factory floor. It's gonna take me a second. Obviously, you've seen me zoop before, so I don't feel obligated to keep that part in. If you think I should keep these zoops in, you should comment and let me know, and I'll figure something out. But the general feedback is some combination of chat more and show us less of the big builds. Things like the wiring and stuff like that. So we are looking for a way to do both those things. Maybe I'll just not put a line here. Ugh, that's gonna take us down from 70 though. We also have that little power situation, which I might not care about. We'll see. This, we're going to have to figure out, though. All right, I'm thinking we'll be back once we've got the factory floor built. This is the absolute edge way out here. How many gaps do we have, right? Well, we have enough for 2 exactly, and then we could just leave that. Call it character and call it the day. Who knows why I did that? We're in the midst of building that factory floor, but it's always fun when you can hyper cannon up. So I figure we chat through that part at least. Looks so different at night. Is there one part of this factory I'm very happy with? Yeah, it's this one. It's this part. I've taken more shots of this than anything else. Love it. And it pretty much works with a little bit of overclocking. You can process the oil that comes in, turn that processed oil into diluted fuel, and then burn all of that fuel. Just a slight amount of overclocking. It's 113. Makes it look really cool. It looks really, you know, even. Because it's a nice, perfect 5. Who knows if we're going to actually fit the full 70 in here. We've used a lot of infinite lifts, which have taken up a good chunk of our space. And this should be relatively quick, so I'm just gonna stay with you through this zooping. It looks cool when you zoop at night anyway. I like it when I zoop at night. Of course, now it's daytime. Boo. Am I the only one that likes the nighttime in this game? I feel like everybody else, especially people who make YouTube videos, they'd go out of their way to make it so it's never nighttime. I'm guessing they've gotten feedback saying, I can't see, it's too dark. It does get dark. That's why you make lighting and you make things look cool. We don't work in the dark because it's scary. We work in the dark because it looks cool. All right, so we got the factory floor more or less done. We've got a couple of weirdnesses, but other than that, should be relatively straightforward. Now, what's our spacing look like here? If we start if we say that we want to start going this way here, we'll go that way first. So that means this side will come in this way, like so. All right, let's do some building. I wonder, where did I put all those reinforced plate? I obviously dropped them off somewhere. Reinforced plate and quartz crystals are going to be the absolute bane of this build. And it looks like encased beams are also going to join the party at a pain and super annoyance. Maybe we should build bar a little bit here. Whoops. Let's get back over here. We probably need to find a place to put in, like, the world's largest battery tower, so we could power tower our way through all this power that we're generating that we can't capture. 12,000 quartz crystal is, well, it's a lot. Let's see. Uh-oh. I should have paid more attention to our flight path here. We still made it. Well, if we ever need silica, we at least have one whole storage container full. Wow, we need 12,000. This is 9,000. Gonna totally rob the factory here. I mean, it's uploading. I think the other place we should stop is to get some... Let's see if we can find some encased beams. Though... stopping off for cable first probably makes more sense. Iron plate we're gonna make. I think we have picked up enough concrete. Yeah, the encased beams are gonna be something of a deal breaker. I'm really mad that that video didn't make it, because we went out of our way on this iron rod factory. I put in separate belt speeds to get some fresh textures. We're storing a ton of iron rods locally, so if we ever need to build, we've got access to them. It's really crazy. But at the end of the day, I wanted a ton of iron rods, and we now have a ton of iron rods. I don't think we're going to get back up there. I think we need to take a nice little trip to the hyper cannon. Hey, and luckily we were able to find some encased beams, so I'm excited about that. Where did that click go? How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, 8. So that's actually a little better than our estimate. It's a lot better. All right, now we have to get our inventory together. Just those first couple clicks, just want to try to use up as much as we can so we have some spaces. We want to make sure we're taking from inventory first. I think I want to blow through some of the stored items first, just so we can start uploading those encased beams specifically. We're short on reinforced plate, so let's make sure we get some of that in the mix. And some concrete. That should be enough to get us started. Okay. That's looking good. And then we can just go a couple of serpentine without any issue. So let's double check our inputs on this. All right, 5 steel beams. We could run that forever. 20 steel rod, or iron rod. So 780. I know the answer is what? 4 times 5 times 8. 780 divided by 20. 39. Yeah, it was that -1 that was throwing me off. I'm going to just keep pulling from the digital depot as quickly as possible. I think that's the right way to go here. All right. Now, where is the... reinforced plates? We need more reinforced plates. Let's grab a few of those. We probably need to make sure that we build enough of this stuff to clear these out. All right. I'm gonna... gonna move our stuff way up, kind of off the line so we can have room to cleanly build. I don't know if we have the stuff to even get a few more clicks in. We're doing all this so we can make engines faster, or motors faster. So we can make engines faster. Just trying to improve that line. guess we still need this. If I can grab all 3,000 reinforced plate, I'm just going to try to trim it down to exactly the right amount. And then I guess we need a lot. I'm really worried about those quartz crystals. We pulled all the quartz crystal we could find, and it really wasn't that much. Should be able to cover quick wire. And let's grab some of these copper sheets. Really can't go to the very, very edge. All right. Wow, we got through a lot of it. That's very happy with that. You know what? I'm so happy that I feel like we better check our work just to make sure things are going as well as we think. What are we missing? Quartz crystal, of course. I mean, as long as no row faces each other and every machine faces the same direction, we should be perfect. And I think we are perfect. The only thing I did was quote unquote wrong is I've run this stuff the opposite direction. I could just peel it off of here and send it in this way. I think I am. The only problem is this might not overlap right. Let's see. So steel. We want steel on the top. And then we're outputting on the bottom. Why are you giving me... When I click this, that's what I want. Well, I think I've connected that completely and totally wrong. This is why I don't connect everything before I do inputs. Gives you an opportunity to make these kinds of mistakes where the stakes are low. Mistakes, stakes. Ah. And that's better. Ooh, how did I miss that so badly? Jeez. Alright. Well, it was better, but now it's much, much, much worse. Let's try that again, shall we? Yes, that'll be better. Trying to think of the best way to clean this out. Should probably just use a little storage container. Just run this. Come on. There we go. All right, I think we're close to set up here now. Let's grab some power and put some power in place. Could just sample that. All right, now we're just gonna, let's connect all the power of everything that we have, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so that's all powered now. It's not necessarily all of the ones that we want to build, right? Yeah, we still have 21 more theoretically planned. We got room here for one more round, and then we could do one more round on the other side of that. So that would give us, oh no, 2 more rounds. Okay, yeah, we've got the space for everything that we wanted to do. Let me pull these encased beams in so we can start uploading more of those. We only need 200 more. I'm gonna build the bottom belts of the stuff that we currently have. Let everything upload. And you know what? While I'm thinking about it, ooh, our steel beam count kind of dropped on us. But that won't take long. Each machine's only. Wait a minute. Why aren't you taking in steel beams? Is there one tiny rod in here that we can't get? Yeah. There we go. So we're only using 2 steel beams per minute, so we really don't need a ton of steel beams. All right. We'll just do a little split there and then rejoin here somewhere. Just in case, if we ever slow down production, we'll at least have a little bit to jumpstart. When we restart. Like right now, apparently we've got more iron rods than we need. So it's good that we're building up a little bit of a store, because when we build the rest of this, we're gonna need those iron rods. And apparently it doesn't take as many iron rods to make rotors than I think. It's just a slow process is really the problem. Well, I should have built the output belt on this. we'll build this, then I'll build the end cap, then we'll cut the repetitive nature of building this. Right, so everything is running this way. This should come out close, like so. And we might... Nope, we're gonna have to build it manually. All right, fine. All right, so we're at the next end cap. And I think it's pretty much the same thing, right? Except now this one is a little closer. If we could get that and this to work. We can. So much better on this side. Okay. We missed one, but hey, it's easy enough to find. You know, the only gross part about this is we're going to end up with a massive amount of rotors on the wrong side of the world. I'd probably prefer to have them over here. Eventually, we're going to want to connect them to rotor storage. But that's a small price to pay. We'll just run about. You know what? I'm in the middle of building the output belt for these rotors, and I'm realizing I'm not seeing any rotors. Where are my rotors? Did I miss something, or... Surely we should be making some rotors by now. I hear the machines running. Oh, this isn't good. Ooh, this could be catastrophic. What is going on here? Ooh, it is catastrophic. We have not connected this correctly. Even a little bit. Luckily... Yeah, the machines I'm hearing are the screws getting built. Luckily, this is an easy fix. This should be where the rods go. This is where the rotor should be. I think we need to... Probably need to just finish this connection. Then we'll bleed out those rotors. Doesn't really change our thesis. The rotors at the end of the day will be far away. And it's fine that they're far away, so I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about making sure I get this thing connected correctly at some point. That should be rotors coming out. I mean, rods coming out. Okay, so now it looks like we're actually making rotors. Phew. Luckily, since we were connecting an input to an output, it didn't contaminate any belts. Except for the one belt that it was on. All right, so yeah, rotors are now flying down the row here. Boy, something about when we go to make rotors, I find a way to have a bad day. That almost was a bad day. But luckily, our quality control kicked in just in time. It's a little odd that the output and the input kind of share the same belt space. Right? Normally this would be your output and your inputs would be over here. And that's what got me confused. But we figured it out. Looks like we missed one there. Surely we're not that much out. Where are they really pulling? Oh, I guess all of these early machines have to get full before they start passing along. Either that or we didn't build the end cap. Nope, we did. And the rods are going around, but now they are starting to deplete. Half of half of half of half of half of half of half. Eventually, you get down to relatively small amounts. Let's take a few and hand deliver, as I'm wont to do. Just so these guys are not totally waiting forever. All right, I'm gonna build some more belts. I'll be right back. All right, we're at another end cap here. The rod ratio. Okay, so we are cranking on the rods, but it's not like a full belt worth. But if we really wanted some rods, we could get some. Let me just do a quick... All right, I'm going to be careful about how I say this. We're going to add some additional rods to this factory line here rapidly. I seem to have misplaced my jetpack. Okay, where did I put that? It's probably in the item storage area. Yep. So easy enough to grab some iron rods from our new iron rod factory, and a good chunk of them are going in. So, I mean, iron rods are making their way in, but For what we're trying to do right this second, it wouldn't hurt to have a instant supply. I just think that looks better as a belt. Now I've got all these iron rods that I can't get rid of. All right, I think I'm just gonna drop these in all the right places. Just to sort of give ourselves a little bit of room. Plus, it will help us distribute these rods. We're using 20 per minute, so we really only have 10 minutes worth. Probably not going to get all the way down to that level that quickly, but it's fine. It's fine. All right, so where were we? I need to get back on the belt grind. I am kind of keeping an eye on our uploads. We're down to 3 things. A couple pulls of cable and we're good. A couple pulls of concrete and we're good. Now we just need a good chunk of quartz crystal and we could start pulling that now. By the time we're done with this belt, we'll be ready to finish off the rest of the factory floor. Looks like this row is already done. We're on the end cap. And this is where we are. Okay, let me build these. And I still think it's better just to build one side so you don't swipe back and forth. This is the primary reason why it is better to stack this. Because then all you have to do is build one side of this. You don't have to swing your camera around and build this side. So I might have to go to all tall platform solutions going forward. And you know, it's funny, if I just didn't build at such a big scale, we're probably would beat the game by now. But this is my big scale run, so we're building at a big scale, and we're not even building at like I use all the oil in the world scale. We're just building at, you know, pretty big scale. For that whole building right there just to be iron rods, that's something. Look at those steel beams. It's gonna take a while for another 5 iron rods to make its way down here. Half of half starts to add up relatively quickly, or I guess divide down, however you want to look at it. Okay. These rotors are ready to go, but we are not ready to ship them yet. This is the only weird part about this design. We should have set the rotors to come out this way, then we could have connected them, and then these rotors could actually be of use. But we've serpentined those as well, so they're going to go through this whole area and then come back and then drop down. It's annoying, but at the same time, it barely matters. Once you have the first one, you have all of them. Okay, let's see. So the steel beams are piling up a little bit. Our rotors are half of half of half. 20 per minute. $39 machines at 20 per minute. What did we start with? 70? Oh yeah, we're not gonna use all these. We're probably gonna have to do... We're probably gonna have to add some more rods to this later in the process. That's not too bad. We can figure that out. I think we should keep going with the build, even knowing that it's going to be putting a demand that we'll never meet. Now I definitely want to take from inventory first, because we're on the cleanup phase of this. See how many of these builds we can get going. And we ran out of quartz crystal. Inventory's getting a little better. My plan would be to just use up all the stuff. Or at least leave ourselves with space enough to just move on with our day. We've got these 15 raw quartz. I just want to get them out of our inventory. Maybe there's enough quartz crystal over there for us to grab what we need. Should I just put a cannon in here, at least temporarily? Oh boy. That is the sound of someone realizing there is not enough quartz crystal in the current factory as a whole to complete their task. And that's with us really very effectively robbing the factory. We still need 500 more quartz crystal. And there's no storage here because it's a wide open belt. The stuff we have in upload is basically already counted. All this and we're still not making it fast enough. Fully overclocked summer sloop machine. Granted, there's only 2 of them in that state, but still. That machine's only running at 70%. This one's running at 100%, so we'll move the summer sloop and overclock over here. Doesn't help us exactly right this second. Look at that giant pulse of quartz crystal. There we go. The factory will be disappointed with a good chunk of their shipments, but we also want rotors, so it is what it is. When you're on the factory, this looks really close, but at this distance I could easily see us going a lot higher with both sides of this factory with no issues whatsoever. So we have 6 spaces left. I could call it. Of course, that's leaving us 14 mega platforms short than our plan. Effectively, though, we're only going to really have space for 1 more of these. If I go to the edge, we could put in 2 more rows. I guess we could go ahead and do that. I'm gonna come over here and kind of observe the, well, oh yeah, we've got room for 1 more over here as well. All that, we didn't bring any quartz crystal with us. Trying to use as much of the stuff that we have in inventory as possible. All right, so now this one is going around in like this. This one's coming out, coming down like that. All right, I think that looks about right. And then if we just kind of step out over the edge here, we might be able to squeeze in 1 more row. And it will be a squeeze in. Right? We almost got it all. We haven't finished clean yet, though it's not impossible. Let me make sure that we put this in a in a case. We got way too many stators in our inventory. Just want to try to keep those dismantle crates to a minimum. Okay, we have all of it powered at the very least. And now we just need to connect you to way over here. Probably gonna need a little connector. Right, let's get these in. We'll build these belts. We only have 2 more belts to go. And then we'll be making a good chunk more of engines. We probably do need to do a midstream injection of this iron rod situation. All right, so now that's going in that way. This is coming down this way. I guess if I'm gonna go down there, I might as well connect these. This last input belt. Don't beep at me. All right, that should be it. Why don't I see any rotors, though? Again with the rotors. So they're there. Did we forget to... Yeah, we didn't connect these internal belts on either side. We'll start over here so we can send the rotors on their way. All right. Almost done. Pretty easy at this point. We've got the rhythm. All right, let's make that happen. All right, we've grabbed a good chunk of rods. Just sort of, again, so we can build a few extra rotors. Help make the next video a little bit more active. We'll drop these rods off, and then we'll connect all of our new rotors. Wow. Our rod supply is a lot lower than I thought it would be, actually. At some point, we'll probably drop in a fresh supply of rods somewhere in this part of the process. Early enough to make a difference, but late enough to not back up the belt. I'm a little concerned that I'm not seeing any rods. I would expect to see some. Oh yeah, there was one. There was another one. We're still somehow not making enough rods. I might need to reset up how this building shares with the local output. I've got it set up right now where it's basically 50-50. That's probably not anywhere near enough. Of course, once it's backed up and it's, all good, then it's 100% to the mega factory, but we could just run a belt straight down here. Okay, we've got that. I think that's how we'll just reconnect the rotors that we're making into the general rotor supply. I mean, we're only making 4 rotors per machine. So until we get over 100, I don't have to worry about filling a belt. I'm not going to go for 800 rotors per minute. Now we're going to have to basically boost everything from the back here. Just so happens that it came in the absolute wrong direction. Alright, so this belt, which should contain rotors, I guess we'll just dip down and pop back up real quick. There we go. Rotors supplied. The one thing we don't have in major supply is the iron rods. I'm gonna go grab one more chunk of those. I could theoretically build a direct connection. There we go. We'll make use of all these iron rods relatively quickly, but it's fine. Good chunk of rotors. Of course, that's all backup. Reclaim our stuff, and I think we're pretty close to done here. Gotta seek out a good place for our... So here's the answer to the original question, is that we ended up trying to... We muted the mic in between videos and I forgot to unmute it, and so I did a whole video of building that third tower, including the blueprint and connecting it, and the pain that I went through to make it happen. I could feel myself getting mad about it, but I did the whole video on mute, so it's a pointless video when we're trying to chat more or edit out non-commentary. So I deleted it and I talk about it, but no one's mad about it. Let's figure out, I mean, I'd love to get some iron rods back to these guys. Wait a minute. Did we misconnect something? Because I see that the belt here is stopped. But it's empty here. Totally and completely forgot to connect this. $20 per minute is kind of rough. I mean, at a full 780, 39 machines are supported. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 16. Oh, 32. 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40. Right, so we'd actually need 2 more additional iron rod additions, or we just need to upgrade. I think we need to upgrade and get faster belts, which is why we're trying to build our project parts. Okay, we'll accept that as the plan. We are making a good chunk of rotors though. Let's see if our engine factory has come alive at all. I'm seeing pausing at this point. Checking to see if we need to do any upgrades. Ah, there's one. There we go. That's a full... Well, currently it's pretty close to a full belt. It's not exactly ever really going to be a full belt, but it's enough to increase our overall output. Boy, those rotors though. We need a lot more rotors. looks like we're sending more. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the full high-speed belt that I'm typically used to. But hey, I'm definitely seeing more green lights up here. That is a huge step in the right direction. And we're only using 3.75 rotors per minute, except for this one, where we're stealing all the rotors, using almost 10. All right, we're definitely getting some additional motors up here, so that's really the whole point. Because then we can use those additional motors over here to store and ship them over here to make more cooling devices. And the fact that we're actually shipping out empty nitrogen canisters tells me we're actually using more motors. So that's really good. Happy with that. Happy to see at least one machine full on motors. This side's got a couple. Not full, but he's got a couple. 2.5 per minute. I could probably rob this guy. Well, if I had room in my inventory, I could. Let's just make some room in our inventory. We'll take it from the first two, since they're getting the first half and the first half. So they get 75% of the input. And then we'll spread it around a little bit. Ooh, that's actually looking pretty good back there. Okay. Oh, this line is almost full. Hey, those rotors are really kicking in. All of these machines now have full motors. Oh, except for this guy. How'd you end up with 0? Did I skip you somehow? Okay. Yeah, that's great. These guys are getting enough. And then we've got another round of motors needs up here. Of course, these are 2 per minute. So I'm seeing lots of green light. We haven't even really fully connected all of this stuff yet. Oh, we are 2 hours in, so I shouldn't play around with this anymore, but let me at least see what the connection is like. It looks like the connections are pretty good. And we've got a full industrial storage container of modular engines ready to go. All right, that'll loosen up. I mean, 3 industrial storage containers of modular engines is a great preamble to the next video. But we're going to need some of those motors over here. And I believe that's what this connection is doing. I should label these. Yeah, this third level is... Second level from the bottom is motors. So... I think next episode we just need to connect all these remaining factories. I might actually start over here just because it is the simplest one, and it's like this is close, this is close, this is close. But we'll think about that in the next episode. We're very close though. I think we're one video away from completing the thermal rockets, thermal propulsion rocket part of our phase 4. I'm just happy to see all these motors in play. So many machines now rocking the motors. Now the question is, you know, well, now's not the question. Now's not the time for this question, but soon the question will be. Okay, so we're already splitting the motors here. Half with the cooling devices, half with the modular engines. We'll probably end up splitting it again. We'll probably end up splitting it again to supply engines to the turbo motors. Though technically, the turbo motors are at the tail end of this train on the motor side. There's 5 machines, each looking for half, but they're only consuming 2 per minute. I might just keep the connection, and just grab a chunk of motors and foist them in. Let me see if we have... We should have some motors in storage. Probably not a lot, but some. Yeah, 2,400. And they're making their way down the line here. You know, if I gave these guys a quick boost, like, let's take all of this, and then we'll return one line, including back to storage. And we'll just come to the end here. And then we'll drop this just to give that a little speed boost opportunity. I probably should have saved that move. How much of it's gone? Probably almost all of it. Yeah, let me save this move for the next video. And we'll just massively increase our motors on the belt, temporarily anyway, so we can get a sense of like how we want to split this. These machines just need more rotors. Holy moly. Building at scale is a whole different problem set. I like what I'm seeing here. Yeah, I think it makes sense to split our incoming motors. Cooling systems can't use that many motors. Yeah, 6.2. That's fine. And then this one, it's like 2, right? Yeah, so we could just split this again. Use the rest of those motors for turbo motors. Hoist those motors onto the belt. And then we should finish our turbo motor build, or our thermal rocket build, during the next episode. Let's see how many of these we're making per minute. Oh, we're making 1 per minute. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 18. So let's just round it up and say 20. All right, yeah, 10, 20 minutes. Once all of these are running, we'll have what we need. Theoretically, I could test bench this and get it done a lot sooner. I mean, you only need 1 per minute. And it takes 2 of these to make 2 of these. So 250 turbo motors equals what we need. All right. We'll worry about all that in the next episode. Thanks for hanging out. Otherwise, we're never going to finish, and we're going to start in the next episode now. So we'll see you next time.